Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is. Hello, and welcome back to the Orange and Black SoccerCast. We've got a little bit to recap, a little bit to look forward to. A point's a point, and ultimately 1.875 points per game is plenty to get you into the playoffs. And then we've got some tire situation going on. So, not really sure what's going on there, but we'll be sure to talk about it. This is the podcast of the 2021 USL champions. This is the Orange Black Soccer Cast. Welcome, everybody. No Ray tonight. We banished him to the hinterlands for wearing a shirt or wearing a hat that said Los Angeles on it last week. Some of you eagle-eyed watchers/listeners did notice that. And yeah, if you want him to wear a different hat, he probably will. And we'll give you his address when we figure out exactly what it is. But he's not here, so it's yours truly instead. And joining me this week, none other than Brad from Las Vegas. Bradley, how are things going?
I'm doing quite well. Just 1 point at a time. We seem to be crawling up the standings, and we're doing it in probably a way I don't think any of us expected at the beginning of the year.
Expand on that, if you will.
We don't
What did you
score
expect?
many goal, and
Okay.
our defense has been playing a lot better than I think a lot of people were expecting.
I think that's pretty fair. Now, 1 point at a time, good enough for Orange County, perhaps. One piece at a time, famously good enough for Johnny Cash. So who knows? The man in black might have been right all along. Also joining us after what was probably the worst segue you could probably imagine, Matt, you can light me up. How'd you feel about that one?
Oh, great. Fantastic. Yeah, I was wondering why Ray wasn't here, and I was like peeping the NBA schedule. I was like, oh, maybe the Clippers play tonight or something, but yikes, they don't. They're not in the dance. So, it's a mystery where he is. Yeah, it's a tough, like it's a weird game. It's similar to a couple weeks ago where it's like I don't feel bad about the game, but I also don't feel great. So, we got the point against a decent team that at least they looked a decent team. I don't know if we made them look decent or not. So I guess it'll remain to be seen where they finish at the end of the year, as well as us. But yeah, fine weekend.
It's a fine weekend. We'll take fine. Sometimes. You can't win every single match as much as we certainly would love to win every single match. I really quickly, while we get into this one, just want to shout out our Spanish language written content. Caesar's been doing a lot of work, greatly appreciative of it. And either you can, well, presumably read because it is written, but if you speak Spanish, perhaps give it a watch, give it a read, or just consult a translating service and give his thoughts a read, because I feel like while he hasn't always been super high on Orange County this season, he did have the best possible take coming away from this weekend. So I'm not going to spoil it. OCSCpodcast.com. Go give it a read. Now let's head into let's take a look at how this match went. Lexington, of course, they're down in 8th at the moment. So you're actually not going to see them quite on this little standings thing that's we've got going here, but they've got 6 points from 7 matches, 3 draws, 3 losses, and a singular win. I don't know why I put them in that order. Please do not complain at me. My apologies. But I do think they actually set up pretty well to play against an Orange County team. They were passive defensively, I think is an accurate way to put it. And I think that is a worthwhile thing to do at this point in the season. And I think it's a worthwhile thing to do against a side that has looked very good and transition. Brad, what were your takeaways from? Well, I'll just take the whole match here.
Yeah, kind of looking at the whole match here. First of all, like I said at the beginning of the show, it was a goalless affair. and I think I'm okay with the result, given I think we were the better offensive team. The midfield was winning the ball back consistently. Beyond that, the shots were there. Orange County had 12 in this game, limited Lexington to 7. And it's just finishing those attempts that Orange County still struggles with. But look, the defense is playing absolutely phenomenal. Rando is playing very well himself. And there's really not much more to complain about except the goals will come.
It's fair. Again, we'd love to win every match. We'd love to win every match 3 or 4-0 as well. It didn't happen here, but Jameer Johnson came very close to opening things very early on. And I think it's also worth noting that Orange County is still a side that's trying to get a whole bunch of players fit and is missing some, I would say, important pieces, or at least, has them playing out of position. Matt, overall, no goals, but it's a far cry from the chaos in London at the moment. So, take away from. I'm so sorry, I had to.
Tough day today. Yeah, like I said earlier, like I said, we've had a couple games this year where we're not scoring the goals we want, and we're not like an offensive powerhouse by any means, but it's not like we're not creating chances at all. It's not like we're making it rain chances, but at the same time, we're not like bunkered down, holding teams off, like creating one chance per game where it's like some, long ball counter attack and we're just getting absolutely dominated. Like we're having some back and forth games. We look decent in 2 out of 3 phases, if not great. The midfield is controlling games decently well. The defense has been rock solid. So, the goals hopefully will come. And like I said, we're creating some chances. A couple things go to, slightly different way. We're looking at a 1-0 with another solid win. Jameer puts that chance away. A couple other chances in the second half. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those like things where I think like just keep it going. Build some momentum. Don't make any like hasty changes. Hopefully, a couple players, like you said, come back, and especially like Jameer gets going. Duty gets going. A couple other players like start to get a little, time and fitness and all that under their belt. Like we could be getting those 1-0, 2-0 wins a little more often, and yeah, it's like I said, it's not great, but it's fine. Like that's how I felt Saturday. It was fine.
That's fair. I do think that ultimately Orange County probably loses this match last year. I think we came up against much less organized defenses last year and just didn't really have anything going forward. We just couldn't quite get that break. I don't think it's time to panic because it's 0-0. I think we still played well, and things are still positive. I do want to reinforce Orange County is once again still top of the West at this point in the season. So I know it's early. We are just past the quarter. We've played just more than 25% of the season at this point. Brad, just where did you think Orange County was going to be versus first place in the West?
Honestly, I thought we'd be sitting in the kind of cutoff between 4th and 5th, looking at that playoff game at home. Obviously, we have played 2 more games than current 3rd place El Paso and I believe opponent for the week. No. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everything's been perfect, even though we're sitting in first. The one thing we have commented on a lot, and I continue to do so, is we've played 8 games and have only conceded 3 goals. That is absolutely phenomenal. No other team in the league has less than 4. And that's only 2 teams in the league. No other team in the West has less than 5. And Orange County's defense has been carrying them through this early part in the season. Kudos to the captain. Kudos to our team back there. The offense, like we have said, will find its way. We have had Jameer Johnson, who is our youngest player on the team, go on abroad duty, playing for the youth national team. there has been a little bit of, switching back and forth between who's playing that position. Balls haven't necessarily been finding the box consistently, but everything's been absolutely stellar. And I know I might be jumping the ball a little bit here, but if producer Andy has the graphic, there it is. This is going to be shown on everybody's screens over the weekend. This is something the league put together as a weekly feature. They've been doing this for every game. And Orange County's defense has been the number one defense in the league. I can't believe I'm saying that over the past couple of years, but 0.72 expected goals against across 8 games is absolutely incredibly low. Like, I don't like Dylan. Did you think the defense would be like this point in the season?
No. Let me put it this way. I think the last time Orange County's defense was this good was 2021, the second half of the year, if it wasn't obvious. But things are going well. Brad, did you have more to elaborate there? Or was that the end of your?
No, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and ask this to Matt before we do look towards the next couple games of the year. But Matt, what we've talked a lot about the defense of the game. What's missing on offense, in your opinion, to get that 8th, 9th, 10th goal that we've only had 7 on the year so far?
Ooh, it's hard to say. The way we're playing, I don't know if I would change much, just because you want to keep that defensive solidity. So, like, what I'm tempted to say is like a Duty coming, a very attacking right back, would I think help a lot in the offensive phase. The problem is that could also leave us open defensively. So, would there be a little bit of a, something that kiss curse type of thing is kind of what I'm looking for. Is like, I don't know if I'd want to give up the defensive solidity to get that. I think Jameer Johnson also could offer a lot of width, so that's why I'm really excited to see him get up and running. I think we've been a little narrow this year, and part of that's because we haven't needed to really come back in too many games yet, so it's tough to say. We're definitely going with a safe approach, so I think we've been down in 1 game or 2 games for any extended period of time. So it's tough to say, what how the team would look if we needed to score. I don't know. I'm liking the results, so it's hard to say what I would change. But I do think maybe a little width. I think Jameer and Duty really are the keys to that, kind of on either side there.
Well, let's not forget as well that we finally saw a little bit of Ryan Dogman after a bit. He came on. And this is no disrespect to Nico as well. Ben Alcazar kind of offered as much going forward as Orange County could, but Lexington did an amazing job. Clearly, they had learned from watching San Antonio not to let him get in and start making runs. And you know what? If you wait for a winger or a fullback to get a little bit lazy or a little bit tired and make a mistake, Orange County might win this game 1 goal, 2 goal. But all the same, yeah, Matt, you're right. The results are going Orange County's way, so there's no need to panic. It might not be the prettiest thing on earth. This is far from the worst that Orange County has played and gotten results. This is far from the worst that Orange County has played and not gotten results. So I don't think it's time to panic. And of course, this match does extend the amount of matches that Philip Mediocrium has not scored against Orange County. So eat your heart out, bud. I don't know what it is about Orange County. He cannot figure out a way to make it happen. And I think there's a lot of credit to the Orange County defense there. And while we mentioned players that are coming back from injury, I do also want to point out that Pedro Guimaraes played. We're not going to get to see a lot of him this season. He's certainly on his way to Europe in 2 months or so. But it's nice that he gets a little bit of a send-off, a little bit of a curtain call, if you will, and things go well. But any final thoughts on this match that either of you would like to bring up?
I think one thing too, I don't want to be a downer here, but something just to keep in mind. We have had twice as many home games as away games so far. That tends to bode well. I'm curious to see how this team looks when we have our long run of games on the road. Part of me feels like that almost might be beneficial, honestly. The way we play, you want to invite a home team to, home teams tend to come out and try to attack. That might play to our advantage. So I'm curious to kind of see how that run of away games that we have in June and even later in May, how that goes. And we'll see kind of if things kind of stay the same or potentially get better or worse. So I'm really hoping that we don't, funnily enough, because we are kind of just playing this way all the time now, but my only real criticism I'd have of Danny Stone is he tends to accept the draw or the loss in away games. Maybe not a loss, but I do want to see us kind of try to win those games, especially when you're top of the table and you're feeling good, you're riding momentum. I'd like to see us, go for some wins on the road once we get this kind of stretch of games coming up. So,
all right. I mean, hey,
point out,
if you want to feel like a downer, if Orange County does not start to do well, you can place that blame fully on the middling, underwhelming U.S. national team performance that is certainly to come at this World Cup this summer. So I will take.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win it, dude.
You're so welcome for me saying this. I can't wait for it to get clipped. But seriously, enough of me saying dumb things, and let's hear from someone a little bit intelligent, and let's look a little bit forward. None other than Phil Baki. Phil, welcome. What are we wearing tonight? That seems weird.
Is this?
Go ahead.
Wait, hold on. Is this the right? No. Is this the Rowdy's appearance I'm doing, or is this?
Yes, but you're gonna have to do your best impression of what it looked like in November 2021. So you're gonna want to stop smiling a bit and just choose any number of fingers to hold up.
Yeah, this is my solidarity with former Locomotive assistant Dom Casciato and his undefeated Tampa Bay Rowdies. So yeah, but no, thank you guys for having me, and happy to chat about some Locomotive despite my apparel tonight.
It's perfect. It's almost the perfect segue. If you hadn't already figured it out, yes, Phil is loco about Locomotive. That's probably the worst possible thing I could have said here, but I did it, unfortunately.
I mean, we do it every time. So yeah, Seriously Loco is our podcast, so we lean into the Loco. Feel free to use it.
I do appreciate I'm like laying down these really awful things and you're picking them right on up and making them gold. Phil, I know it's not technically a league match, but all the same, we really only have league form to go off of. How have things been going for El Paso this year? What does 13 points look like?
Yeah, it's been a very strong start. It's been I think stronger than I probably would have predicted at the beginning of the season. Really flew out the gates, scoring a lot of goals. But we saw against San Antonio a little bit of a tendency to maybe be a little bit chaotic or allow other teams to dictate the tempo. So all things considered, it's been very, very positive. Rubio Rubin has obviously been a revelation. Alex Mendez, I would argue as well, has been just stellar. That being said, some injuries, some suspensions, some different things have presented challenges, and Junior Gonzalez just looking for the right ways to solve those. I would say he probably would be the first to admit that he got it wrong in the first half against San Antonio, and unfortunately some maybe mental errors towards the end of the game cost them at least a draw at home. That being said, losing the undefeated streak, and I think being brought down to earth a little bit this week with a loss in the Open Cup and then a loss at home to San Antonio, I think it coming at this time is actually probably not a terrible thing, in that they'll need now to refocus, and it maybe bring some things into more clarity for Junior and his team selection.
Now purely because this is an Orange County podcast and we're obsessed with 2021. How's Eric Calvillo doing other than a red card in Sacramento?
So Eric is thriving, I would say, and he's a guy. He's been at El Paso now for, I mean, this is his 5th season, I think, in at Locomotive, which is pretty crazy. He has been re-energized and rejuvenated, I would say, by Junior Gonzalez and by playing primarily in a midfield 3, which is where we've seen kind of the best of Eric, playing a bit of a freer role with a defensive midfielder behind him. He had been asked to do a lot of this double pivot or playing in a 2, with a back 3, and that's a lot of ground to cover, a lot of defensive roles. And Eric has been he's been off to a very strong start. He's got a couple of goals in all comps, and he's just been a joy to watch when he's got the freedom to get a little bit further forward, because I would argue that there's probably very few players in the USL Championship that can strike a ball as clean as Eric Calvillo, and it is a joy to get him within 20 25 yards of the goal and watch him have a hit.
Thank you. I mean, I really just wanted to hear you say nice things about him. He was obviously instrumental for us, and I just hope he doesn't haunt us. You've kind of talked about some positives there. You've talked a little bit about maybe negatives outside of the chaos, but we've asked this question a handful of our guests this year. 15 minutes into the match, how do we know things are going well for Orange County and poorly for El Paso?
You probably have a goal. To be honest, I think basically early on is when Locomotive's been pretty vulnerable, and it's primarily been from either a set piece or some kind of defensive miscue. And I would say the one area where we're feeling pretty unsettled at the moment is in defense and at goalkeeper, because Abraham Romero played against San Antonio FC. It's been a bit of a platoon situation between him and Sebastian Moramora. Moramora is, I guess, his standout game of the season was Sac Republic, a game that Locomotive probably on balance should have lost. They gave up 5 big chances, opted to find big chances in that game, and he saved all 5 of those, which is quite a significant bailing out, I guess. And so Abraham Romero gets the nod. He has a quite poor performance against San Antonio, and so I think they've got to just settle the back line. And I would say the availability of Kofi Chumasi is probably instrumental as well. He's been the guy in defense, which is not something I necessarily would have seen or said at the beginning of the season. He was good last year, but he's been kind of the linchpin in Junior being able to play his system. But yeah, if things are going poorly in the opening 15, Locomotive has probably already conceded, because they've had a penchant for doing that this year.
Hey Phil, it's Andy. You said the name 6 times. Is that Abraham Romero, the goalkeeper formerly of Orange County Soccer Club?
Did he play for Orange County?
He did.
LA.
He's got a championship ring from Orange County Soccer Club.
Wait, so he was behind Rakowski at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not know he was on El Paso, so I had to make sure I came in and clarified who you were talking about. Thank you.
That is him. He's got some long locks these days, which actually led to a bit of confusion with all of the conversation around Cristo Fernandez, aka Danny Rojas, over the offseason. They have similar hair situations, and we have joked a couple of times about the fact that, is this actually Cristo Fernandez masquerading as Abraham Romero in goal? But no, it's I guess that is him. I knew him, from his lone stint at Colorado Springs. I guess I didn't recognize his history with Orange County, so shame on me.
It's okay. What we're learning is there's a safe home for Orange County players in West Texas, which is nice. Brad, I believe you have a question, so fire away.
Yeah, so Dylan kind of covered the bad, but obviously being in third place with 6 games in hand, things seem to be going pretty well for El Paso. So I'm going to flip Dylan's question. He asked, what's going wrong if El Paso has given up a lead or is going to lose the game? What needs to go right early in the game to know El Paso is doing well?
I think the thing that kind of dictates is if the midfield is controlling the tempo. So if Locomotive get the ball on the ground, play through the lines, particularly with a combination of, there are a few players who can be involved, but I would say, if they start the game and Alex Mendez, Eric Calvillo, and Robert Coronado are involved to some extent, then it's probably a decent start. What'll be interesting about this one is you guys do not have a game midweek, but Locomotive does. So we'll play the cup game and then we play Tulsa at home on Wednesday. So I think the squad selection is going to be a little bit interesting from Junior Gonzalez to see how he manages it. But I would say, like, if the midfield is able to dictate the tempo at which the game is played and able to slow things down, get the ball on the ground and possess the ball, then that's probably a good sign for Locomotive, because when things have turned into a bit of a track meet or a bit more direct is when I think things get a little bit out of hand. And I don't necessarily trust Locomotive's defense in those situations, particularly against set pieces. And it's why, I think all in all, like, you guys do make me a little bit nervous, because with the forwards that you have, Liam McKinnon, like, running in behind, it's just that sort of threat is just often, it gives me that ill feeling. So I think it would be imperative for Locomotive to control the tempo.
All right, I got one more for you before I hand it back off. Obviously, like I said, 6 games, match record of 4-1-1. Kind of give a grade for how the season's been. I know obviously you're not quarter way through the regular season like we are, but what would you give, El Paso if the season were over today? What grade would you give?
Well, I mean, relative to where I thought they'd be, this is like probably an A- B+ territory. Because I truly just I had a lot of question marks about this roster going in, and particularly like strength and depth. I've had those fears a little bit. I feel a little bit better maybe now than I did, but I would say the one real weak area, or area where I still want to see some improvement, would certainly be just defensively and the quality of chances that Locomotive concede, because we just feel like it feels like we kind of keep teams in it, even when, I think San Antonio is a good example where we concede 3 goals from less than 1 XG and unfortunately only score the 2. Which should have been sufficient, to win the game. So, but yeah, on the offensive side of the ball and in midfield, particularly like the emergence of Rubin and Mendez, that's been like A+. So I guess I'll call it a solid B+, B or B+, given some of the other drawbacks. But overall, it's been really positive.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and hand things off to Matt.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to think of a way to make this a question, but it's kind of more just a conversation starter, I guess. Like, you've alluded a lot to the chaos ball that seems to kind of be happening. We look at, funnily enough, the 16 goals for and 8 conceded, whereas we're pretty much the exact opposite. It's almost like a chaos versus team that plays it safe. What is that? Is that down, do you think, style, or is that down to personnel? Just how games have gone? Can you expound upon that a little more?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the goals for is down to, I would say, personnel. Like, I think the way that Amando Moreno, Rubio Rubin, and Alex Mendez have started the season has been just like, when they are all firing, they're going to put a lot of goals past people. There's just a lot of talent there. And they all seem to be clicking quite quickly, which I would say is pretty rare, and maybe for Locomotive has been kind of hard to come by over the last few seasons. So I credit Junior Gonzalez for like setting the team up in a way where they just always feel like a threat. I think the goals against, it is maybe sort of the natural consequence of, we play very attacking and all of that, but this to me is more so about just like finding some rhythm defensively. There are some very, very good players in Locomotive's defense, but there's just there's a penchant for the like switching off and allowing goals, like when it feels like maybe against a run of play, or Alex Cronale pulls up from 65 yards and hits one into the wind and scores. So yeah, a bit strange. I would say that this does definitely feel, and I think me and my co-host Mika on Seriously Loco talked about yesterday. We chatted about the fact that this really does feel sort of like the unstoppable force against the immovable object. Like you guys have been just unreal defensively, and I think the game against Lexington was, something like you allowed 7 shots, and all of the chances that Lexington had were classified as like poor in terms of XG. So that's truly something that like Locomotive's going to have to figure out, because a lot of the teams that we played, I think we've been able to find the ways to hurt them, and mostly it's been on the counter and just playing really rapidly in transition. And you don't strike me as a team that's going to be vulnerable to that more often than not. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how like what the game plan is in terms of creating genuine chances against you guys, who, I mean, 3 goals against is insane. So yeah, it does definitely feel like fire and ice, maybe a little bit 2 different clashing styles, and we'll see how it plays out on the field.
Can I just say that heat map looks interesting? Am I the only one that sees it? All right. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm going to sense either a one-sided victory for you guys, or something that's real tight. So just kind of depends on how real your offense is and how real our defense is, and this might be a game that kind of reveals what the truth might be, somewhere in between, I would imagine. Okay, so that kind of leads us in, I think, to predictions. We want to get a prediction from you and then from our crew.
Yeah, it's tough because I do think it'll be a question of what Junior prioritizes. We saw for Hartford, we had a league match against Hartford and the Open Cup game against Dynamo on Wednesday, and he actually left Rubin and Alex Mendez like in El Paso and didn't travel them. The question essentially becomes like, does he prioritize the league match against Tulsa on Wednesday or the cup match? I'm gonna hedge a little bit and say that you guys win it 1-0, only because I think there's a real possibility that Junior kind of gives a chance to some of the like fringe players in this one, and maybe sends a weakened squad to Orange County with a view to bouncing back in the league against Tulsa. But there's a real argument to be made for sending a full strength squad just so there's not 3 straight losses in all competitions, which could start some heads dropping and stuff like that. But I'll say you guys win 1-0 in a KG match in which Locomotive maybe have a weakened starting 11 that struggles to find rhythm early on and concedes a goal. Probably McKinnon is probably gonna get one past us, but we'll see.
I do have a quick question actually to interject. What do you think you guys prioritize? I mean, between league, I mean, we've talked a lot about the game itself, but we haven't really talked much about the fact that this is the USL Cup and opening game, at least for us, I think.
The Prinx Tires USL Cup, which we've all, as I think John Morrissey put on Blue Sky, we've all dreamt since we were children of winning this trophy. But no, it is a bit of a weird one. I think like the very weird thing about it is that since only one team goes to the knockouts from the group, you can literally lose a game and be just fully out of it. Like he might not bounce back. That us too. We drew on the road to Texoma, and it was basically over. Like it was just that was all she wrote. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird competition. I think all in all, like I think with us going out of the Open Cup, I have a tendency to think that Junior's going to focus on the league, given the strong start that Locomotive got out to, and what a platform that can build for you, especially with having a relatively small squad. I mean, I think we've got 22 players, so it's one of those things where he's going to have to pick something. But yeah, I personally love this competition. Like I watched, I was in Portland for Hearts of Pine against Riverhounds in what proved to be it was a dead rubber, but it was a lot of fun. Penalty shootout win for Hearts of Pine. And I think it's a great competition. It's a lot of fun, particularly for the League One teams, but I don't know if we've seen enough of it in the championship to truly know what the coaches think. And Junior Gonzalez, his first go in it. So we'll see.
Feels like one of those ones where if you do well in it, you're like, this is great, let's prioritize it. But as soon as you lose, like us last year, losing that first game, I think it was, or maybe we drew and then lost. It was like, all right, well, like
tin pot trophy.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Play all the kids. Like, yeah, this is a development trophy now.
Yeah.
Hey, you're spot on. The only thing that matters is the league, because we're both out of the Open Cup, and I can't wait for a vase or vase for some other, the New Rock realty or commercial real estate vase, USL vase at that point, so we can have another cup competition that no one cares about.
Get the League Two teams in there.
Please just tell me that this trophy will be an actual tire. That would make me so happy.
It better be. This is getting into Orange and Black SoccerCast After Dark, but if it is a physical tire, do you pour the championship drink into the tire and drink it out?
You curl in a ball and get in it, and then drink a beer while you're in it.
Just pour it on you, or do you drink it like from the tread? Brad, how do you envision this going?
I personally still think it's the anti-Malort Cup. Jägermeister being the previous sponsor. I agree with the tin pot. I've never really cared about this trophy. It's essentially the same thing that I complained about with MLS. Of it just takes away from actual cups that are fun. The U.S. Open Cup is like special for a reason, and yeah, I just wish it was the real.
All right. Well,
already out of that one, so that one doesn't
Debbie
matter
Downer over here.
I will say that I personally do think that
kids.
my one thing about this competition is I do wish that it was single elimination, just because it would allow for more like cup sets and more League One teams ending up in the latter stages. That's my only thing. And you kind of cut down on some of the fixture stuff and can just play more league games. But I mean, all in all, it's like one of those things where I'm like, I'm happy it exists. I like it conceptually, and I think there's like format stuff that they could do to make it a little bit more compelling. But
hey, they'll figure it out. It's new. Maybe John Morrissey was having a fever dream when he said that he dreamt of winning this as a child. Brad, we know how you feel about things. We know that Joseph Figueroa hopes that we win 2-1. Phil thinks that we're going to win 1-0. What's the score on Saturday?
From my perspective, I'm going to see it go to penalties 1-1.
Okay, Matt.
I think we play some kids as well. I think if they do as well, I don't think we'll have I think one of those would be Tyson Espy. I think maybe we give Brewitt a rest, so that kind of changes things on our defensive solidity. I'm going to go with a 3-2 Orange County.
Chaos. I can't. All right, let's just go with a 1-0 because I don't see a ton happening here. I think
Zubac hat trick. True chaos.
Yeah, why not? Orange County 10, El Paso 8. Yeah, who knows? I think this is a chance for Orange County to get some players some minutes, try and get them match fit, and give Danny Stone a headache in a few weeks' time. Phil, any last random thoughts you'd like to expand upon?
Well, it's just funny as Matt said, play the kids. I was just chuckling at the idea that Locomotive, in many ways, playing like if they play the kids, it means they've fielded a strong like a first choice 11 because Kenneth Hoban, who is 16 years old, is like functionally our best right back and has like earned himself a starting spot, which is yeah, just a credit to him, a guy who played literally 1 minute of senior football last year, is now like strongly first choice at right back over genuinely good options. And that's yeah, been super impressive to watch. So yeah, just one note, a kid who might be rested if they play a weekend lineup in Orange County, like oddly enough. Yeah.
We saw it happen last year. I won't name names, but a actual teenager essentially pushed another established professional player out of the starting 11, and said player just retired after that point. It wasn't going super well for him, I don't think. So I think he was just about done. Yeah, Phil, I want to give you the floor here to just let our listeners know where they can find you on the internet if they choose to do so.
Yeah, I'm at Phil Talks Footy on Blue Sky, and I am on the USL show. So if you listen to the USL show, I'm over there. I've been in the midst. The reason I'm in a basement right now is because I'm in the midst of a move. So more will be revealed about that. But I am also on Seriously Loco, which is the Locomotive podcast that I do with my friends Christian and Mika, and we are into season 8 of that particular show since the inception of El Paso Locomotive, and so yeah, tons to come there, and it's been a fun start to the season. But yeah, so if anyone's interested, those are where you can find me.
Phil, thank you for joining. Go get some rest. We know it's late out in Toledo. Am I right?
Or wherever I am.
Or wherever Phil might be. I don't think the federal, whatever. I won't get super off topic here, but it's fine. It's fine. Phil, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Brad, is back to the Prinx Cup for a minute. Is the official drink after you win it? Is it Malort? I mean, are you pouring Malort, champagne, beer? What are you doing here?
I'm pouring Malort any time of the week, Dylan. You know that.
That's true. Go get your bottle.
It used to be at my desk. I've since moved it downstairs like a respectable human being.
I will say, if you poured Malort onto the tire and drank it out of it, you wouldn't taste any difference.
No, I'm going to say you're just getting a lot more tire.
Getting a lot more tire.
When a bottle of Malort and a car tire love each other very much, you'll get more car tires. I think we've established how car tires are made. So things are trending towards a Malort sponsorship.
Malort is squeezed out of car tires, I believe, is how Malort is made.
I honestly think you guys have just made me a fan of this cup, putting that analogy together for me.
Yeah,
Malort tire.
Malort. It tastes like you drove there. I don't know. That wasn't a great one, but all the same.
You tried.
Hey, it wasn't good. It wasn't much of a try. If you find yourself at an Orange County match and you haven't tried Malort, just go find the County Line Coalition, and they will be more than happy to let you know what Malort tastes like and give you some, I think, as well.
And just know that I apologize for introducing them to it.
Now you seem pretty happy with things. We're into that point. Unfortunately, no player guest tonight for us, but all the same, Orange County and life march on. So, any random soccer news that you two would like to talk about?
I will say this. I put together a little Vegas-inspired joke based on what you had said earlier in the show, Dylan. But, British soccer right now, just the EFL, everything going on. You got a lot of bottles and you got a lot of double downs like a blackjack casino. You got Arsenal bottling the league right now. You got Leicester going down 2 seasons in a row, and Tottenham on their way down as well. Absolute cluster of a league to watch. It's going down to the wire, and absolute just hilarious fun going on out there.
5 more games. It's still on for Chelsea to relegate Tottenham. We are still in that
they don't
possibility.
manage to do it,
second to last game of the season.
Yeah, and if for whatever reason it takes one more, Brad's beloved Everton might be the ones. I certainly don't want anyone to lose their job, which is the inevitable reality of a club being relegated. But my God, do I really look forward to the amount of abuse that Ray will receive about a month from now when he joins the show. We might have a special episode just for that.
Yeah. Also, want to just a little shout out Frankie Lampard's Coventry coming up.
Yeah, congratulations to him.
Love that man.
I'm happy for you, Matt, even when things are not going well.
Yeah, well.
We do find a way here at the Orange and Black SoccerCast to find the positives in things. Matt, what did you learn this week? If you learned
this week
anything. From this week's show, if you've learned something random, I don't care to know that.
Tomorrow, Saturday is going to be interesting. I do love the idea of the immovable object and unstoppable force. The cup game aspect makes it a little tough to say that that's going to continue for either side, but it's going to be interesting to see how seriously we take the cup. I don't know. Do you guys have any like lineup predictions or like kind of thoughts on like? Do you think we rotate a lot? Do you think we, play a mostly first 11?
I think this week we will see a lot of the normal group just because you want to keep your players fit, healthy, keeping on going. And this is, we're not seeing any midweek congestion matches like we did the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So I think everything will just kind of continue on as if this was a regular league match. If things don't go in a favorable manner for Orange County, then maybe for the Phoenix Rising matchup in mid-May for the next USL Group 2, we're talking about playing the kids a little bit more. But for the time being, I think you'll see the same starting 11. You'll see maybe a little bit more rotation and flexibility on subs late game, but probably similar.
Hey, it might be a Mickey Mouse Cup, but this is Orange County, so maybe it does belong here. I think you're spot on. I don't think you rotate too much here. Maybe you give 1 or 2 guys that really need to get match fit, like a Ryan Dogman, a spot in there. I don't think you rest Tom Brewitt. I think you throw Tyson SB next to him, and you try and make things happen. And you worry about maybe getting everybody super fit 2 months from now if we drop a match here and it's mathematically over in this weird little thing. Brad, throw it over to you. Did you learn anything this week? And if so, what was it?
Yeah, I'll do my learning random thoughts, but first of all, we got playoff season going on for stick puck and ball basket, and playoffs have been fun. I was yelling at a TV last night because Carolina Hurricanes had to take 2 overtimes, a refereeing controversy, and everything just to beat Ottawa Senators, but the good guys won in the end. For those of you guys listening, I am wearing a Carolina Hurricanes jersey because I'm an absolute homer. And then I got one piece of not so sad or not so happy news. Hey, for those of you guys who know or don't know, I've been unemployed for a hot minute right now in between jobs. And I'm going to call out the behavior of people when it comes to preparing an interview. And you set time to have a candidate, such as myself, expect a call. Call. Don't ghost somebody. Don't make us worry about what happened. That's just pure professionalism, the bare minimum, because you as a hiring person expects us as the candidate to do the same thing.
100%. Go Duckies also.
This is a very pro-labor podcast, if you hadn't already noticed. So while we're on the topic, I do hope there is some movement towards a new collective bargaining agreement. I do hope we end up with something like safe playing surfaces. You can, of course, go look at the state of the pitch that was posted by the Players Association earlier this week. And, maybe if you want to twist the screws a little bit, demand 2% of your or slightly more than 2% of your season ticket value back from the owners of the club and the league, because they're protesting, not playing. Anyway, did I learn anything this week? I don't know. Probably, but I can't think of it. I'm just grateful that you were all here. I'm grateful to Matt and Brad for being here this week. I'm grateful to Phil for joining for wherever he is, but presumably not the West Coast, so some future time that is far too late for one Tuesday night. And I'm grateful to you, the listeners of this wonderful show. Without you guys and without producer Andy, none of this would still be happening as we rapidly approach 9 years or something like that, which is just insane to think about. So I just want to take a moment to be grateful and say thanks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for complaining about things on the internet at us, about us. What a wild world we live in. And I'm grateful that you choose to spend your Tuesday evenings or whatever time you listen to this with us. So for all of us here at the Orange and Black SoccerCast, please go read something on our website, ocsepodcast.com. And in the meantime, have a great week. Thanks.